All right, so I saw on Cleveland Terry's show last week. I asked a question to him about travel expense, and I want to make sure that you guys are charging accordingly for travel expense. And the reason I say that is because I was not charging accordingly for travel expense. One thing about travel expense for me, it almost makes me nervous to ask a customer to pay travel expense. But then when you think about it, it's like, why are you nervous to ask that? Why? And I just think that, oh, I'm asking for too much. Like, I'm being a diva. I'm asking for too much. I'm asking you to pay for this, pay for that. But if you think about it, if they don't pay for it, you gonna pay for it. There's nobody else that's gonna pay for that. So when I say stuff like this, I mean, like, here in South Carolina, most cities are about an hour to 2 hours at most. Now, there is one city that's 3, which is Hilton Head. But most of them you can get to within like 2 hours. Myrtle Beach, Charleston, Greenville, Columbia, of course, areas in here. So, and most, like I have to travel to Aiken Saturday. So, that's an hour. I usually don't charge for those areas. I usually don't. I don't charge to go out there. I don't include it within the package or nothing like that. Now, when we start getting to the Hilton Heads and the Georgias and the, you see, I got asked to do Florida. I've been asked to do Tennessee. I've been at, there are fees that come with that. And normally I would just say you have to pay for what it costs to get down there, gas there and gas back, probably 2 tanks or 3 tanks, charging them that for up and 3 tanks back. It was too tedious to do miles, and then room and board. One thing that I did not pay attention to, and this is what Cleveland Terry had to say on his show, which was, it made total sense. He said, if they want you, they will pay for you. If you let them know straight up, you have to cover this in order for me to be there, then there's no issue. And you already have to have that laid out. You already have to have that known. You already have to have that in some type of package. So I'll give you for instance. So for the Tennessee event, you want to say, I need you to cover hotel, food, and gas to get there. And they pretty much either say yay or nay or how much is it, and then you base it off of whatever you calculate that to be. I would say it should be, depending on the hotel that you want to stay, as long as you're not trying to stay at some 5-star hotel altogether just for one night over, you should be right around the, I don't know, $400 or $500 range. It could be more than that. I'm just putting out a number. It could be right around the $500-$600 range. Whatever you calculate that to be. You look at stuff in the area. You try to find a hotel as close to the venue as possible, so you don't have to do any additional traveling. And then you look at 3 tanks of gas to get up. Based on your gas mileage, 3 tanks of gas to get up, 3 tanks of gas to get back. And you cover that. Now, if somebody's going to be flying you somewhere, here's the things that you need to consider for travel expense. You need to consider plane ticket for you and an assistant, because you're going to need an assistant. Plane ticket for you and an assistant, room and board for a hotel in that area, travel, whether it be Uber fees or it be a rental, because you got to get the equipment. And then equipment, you need to call ahead of time, talk to a DJ in your area or like a guitar center in your area to see about how much it costs to rent equipment. The customer needs to cover that. And that's on top of what you already normally charge for services, because you have to get there. All of this needs to be some type of package. So when you're putting together your as like I do, a brochure, you want to make sure that you have incorporated that any travel outside of 60 miles, 120 miles, which, equals 2 hours. This is what it's going to cost, because I'm going to have to get room and board, because nobody wants to finish a gig at 11 o'clock at night, pack up. By the time you finish, it's 11:30, almost 12, and drive home 2 hours. Nobody's going to want to do that. So anything past 120 miles, room and board, food, gas, there and back. That should be its own thing that can be added to any of those packages. If you have to fly there, you get all your numbers together and you say you're going to have to cover rental of equipment, how to get it there, flight to there, because they want you. They want you. If they didn't want you, they wouldn't pay for you. They would just get a local DJ. So all of this stuff should be covered in there. Rental of equipment, rental of a vehicle, flight with you and an assistant, room and board. All that should be a package that can be added to any of your packages. And I say that because you have to get what's worth it to both of you out of it. Now, if that's $1,000 and you charge $1,000 and $2,000, it is what it is. If that price is more than your services, you might need to raise your services. However, it should be along the lines of probably your middle package. It would probably be 2 times your package, your middle package, whatever that may be. If it's $2,000, it probably travel package would be another $2,000. They would have to pay $4,000. And guys, we got to stop looking at the customer as like we're dealing with their money, like we're the ones that decide their money. They decide on this. I'm making a decision in my head before I even talk to the client. I'm scared to even send it over because I'm like, well, this is going to make or break me. No, you've got to send your worth to the client. You have got to send your worth to them, because it's not that you're thinking highly of yourself, but your time is valuable. The ease to get it there, the ease to perform for them, all is determined on somebody else's stuff. It's not necessarily your stuff if you're being flown in. I'll give you a great example. When I went to Rick Webb's wedding, he had to fly in Nick and Santi, and he had to set up his entire setup, and Nick had to use, only thing that Nick brought was his laptop. That's it. Rick provided everything else for him. When Jason Jani came down to North Carolina, Rick provided his entire setup. Jason Jani only came down and brought his laptop. That's it. You have to take all of this stuff into consideration. And I'm sure that these couples will pay it. They will pay it. They will pay it, because the reason that they want you is because they've already seen you. They know of you. They know what you can do. They're going to pay it. So you have to trust and believe in yourself. So let me know in the chat down below if that sounds like too much, the way you're like, nah, I'm not going to put that on paper. And maybe we could try to talk you through it to where you can create that. Or let me know in the chat down below that I'm crazy. Why would you ever ask a customer to pay a certain amount of money? We'll talk about that below too.